Usman for money for the consistent coming to our office to make sure that these things holds today. I would also like to extend my greetings to Mr. Kindi Toure, the father, and also the father of Usman, who is also present in this gathering. And I would also like to extend my greetings to the press who are all here today. This press conference is very important today because we are here today for a new project of a museum which is supposed to be at Basse. And I think Basse's community, this is their first time they will be having a museum. I think that's a very important, thing that we're supposed to celebrate. But I will not be wasting much time. I will first of all like to introduce myself. Then later maybe I will hand over the mic to Usman. To Magasi, yeah? Okay. Yes. To Usman to give his speech. And his statement later, I will also deliver a speech, also on the behalf of the Director General. Then we can also have Honorable Magasi also to give a few words. My name is Mohamed Salah. I am the Assistant Director for Museums and Monuments of the National Center for Arts and Culture. I would like to welcome all of you to this, important gathering. Thank you very much. So I would like to hand over the mic to Usman to give his speech. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ngamula na speech in the bari pour ke program kamma khagedanga yana khanu hilina ya English indi na ya Soninkendi. First of all, I would like to thank the Right Honorable Magasi, the former MP for Basse constituency, and then the current Consul General for France to the Gambia. On my right still, I would like to thank Hamad Salah, the Assistant Director for all museums and monuments, as he rightly said. I would also like to extend my profound gratitude to all the participants, those who are present here today in this important gathering. I would like to thank our humble father, which is Kinda Toure from Kantora, and my father, Abdullah Mamasa Bumani. And then I also have my stepmom, which is Aja Mariam Toure, Hajabana Toure, and then and the rest. So if I should mention all the relevant and important people in this important gathering, it will take more time. So we will not forget to thank one of our press member here, which is Fatmata Kijera, and then Aisha Sinera, the secretary to the Right Honorable Magasi. We would also like to thank Mahmoudou Taraware. Mahmoudou is one of the active members since the beginning of this project. And then I would also like to thank Suleimani J.C. Magasi and any other audience, those who are present here. My profound gratitude goes to you all. All right, so I would like to go into details on my official presentation of this Soninkara International Museum, a Basse Community Museum of River Region, the Gambia. Good morning, good afternoon rather, honorable members, the staffs, the Director General of NCAC. I would like to introduce myself on this important gathering to the benefit of those who may not know me or those who are not familiar with me. My name is Usman Gumane. My name is Usman Gumane, a native Gambian citizen born in Koina village, Upper River region, the Gambia, West Africa. However, through the track records, electronic, media printed documents, and most importantly, various excursions into the Gambian National Museums on the National Center for Arts and Culture, encouraged me to have the desire, the zeal, and the spirit as a young person to venture or initiate such a credible project in my community, Basse. Moreover, I once paid a visit to the National Museum in Banjul, where I saw a specific cultural instrument inside the museum, and I was asked to name it and give the historical background explanation of it. Hence, it is belong to my community background, Basse, in which I remain silent. As a result of such, I got the zeal and the spirit to work on intangible cultural heritage of my community by storing the necessary part of its intangible cultural heritage in line with the Gambian policy of arts and culture. Hence, culture is a way of life. And to equally encourage the young citizens to take the necessary steps towards and to be proud of their community intangible cultural heritage, particularly in Basse, wherein it has never been a community museum project before, to revitalize or valorize or to preserve the community artifacts for future generations to come. And then the collections of these artifacts so far to be gathered together consists of 320, among which 105 are archaeological artifacts. Example, thunderstone, necklaces, and so on. While 125 are craft materials, example, wooden ball known as mude in local language. And also djembe, which is also a local language, jubure, and tabulleh. These are some of the samples of craft materials. And other 90 are ethnographic artifacts. Example, in local language, which we call gesikoke, water bag, which is known as sumalle, traditional clothes. Example of them, we call it iramu. So we also have monjole, just to name few, and give the total of 320 collections of community ancestors in 15th century today. Furthermore, I will not be justice or fair without giving the brief explanation of some necessary steps that I took towards the overall journey before fulfilling this long-term project since 18 February 2018 to 10th of January 2022. To begin with, the first step I took was to visit some of the community members in Basse to discuss about the ancestral prominent people in the community. Example, Al-Aji Amara Gumare of Koina village, who was the most or among the most successful business person or businessman known as a local name in Fula, Fetchir Lady in Basse, and could give 90% support to both youth and women empowerment. On the list, we also have Musa Molo of Sandu and Balandi in Sonkunda, who were among the greatest Marago in Basse region, particularly. And it brings us to realize some other late relevant people in the community. Example, the late Idrissa Damdi Magazi from Sabi Kolomba village, and Alhaji Omaru Toure from Bajakunda, and Alhaji Musanjai from Julangeli village. We also have Sangun Silla. We also have Grigara Njai, and so on. As well as we also have the current most successful ones, which may include father or the dad Musa, Honorable Musa Drame, who was an elected National Assembly member before, and the former local the local government minister, and current the minister of fisheries. We also have the most outstanding youth, the former National Assembly member for Basse constituency, and the current consular of France, current consular general of France to the Gambia. Who always and ever participate, engage his energetic support in all the community development programs or plans, and equally the given title of Soninkara stamp to the most of the Sarahule development initiatives in the Gambia is no other than Honorable Muhammad Magazi from Sabi Columba, Fentic Terry. This man here, I cannot say all what he could do, but he is one of the most outstanding Sarahule youths in terms of development projects. Followed by the former National Assembly member for Sandu constituency, Honorable Mohamed Mahanera from Diabu, Batapa. Also, the former deputy governor and finally, the current majority leader of the country under the National People's Party, Honorable Bileji Tunkara from Kantora, Sudwal Village, and others. In addition, in early 2018, I began my nationwide tour movement in various communities, URR, Basse, which included or may included Kantora, Tumanna, Jimara, Uliwes, and East, to make a research and to equally look for some of the interested and important artifacts for collections of Sarahule, of Sarahule communities, ancestral and traditional materials, to keep them, in which the outcome of the research went well enough to gather most of the artifacts from above-mentioned communities, to keep them for historical serve, for future generations to come. And in the same vein, in 18th of August 2021, I traveled to our sister country, Senegal, where I also visited some other regions, which may include the following: Gajaga in Senegal, Fouta, and so on. I then proceeded to Mali, where in Mali is very rich in terms of African intangible cultural heritage, wherein it led me to visit some other various communities which may include Jomboro Marena, in which I discovered the most late prominent and famous griot of Sarahule, Osoninke, in the entire world, to display what you call Gambare, whose names are Alhaji Ganda Fadiga. I then proceeded to Jahunu, Gidime, Karta, Gajaga, Kingi, and so on. Where I also visited the grave of Damangile Jawara in Bambangede. Then I later traveled to Jara in Kingi, then Jebige in Kingi, to visit the grave of Silamara, and then proceeded to Channa in Kulkoro region, to equally visit the grave of Karunga Jawara. I finally visited the grave of Alhaji Mpavlai Marega in Muline and others. This could be believed to be among the first ancestors of Soninke or Sarahules in Mali Empire. While still on journey, I finally traveled to Mauritania to visit the former Ouagadougou Empire, which is among the famous of Soninke settlement in 12th century ago, and then proceed to Guinea. So far, so good. This is just a brief explanation I could submit to this important gathering of my experience towards the Community Museum project as a CEO of Soninkara International Museum to date. Finally, I thank you all for your kind attention. God bless you all.
And the representative of the Director General of National Center for Arts and Culture, by your name, Mohamed Sall, a former colleague at Gambia College. Good afternoon to you all. All protocol are duly observed. Starting by the representative of the Director General of National Center for Arts and Culture, and our humble man, a very young man of 25 years from Upper River Region, Kantura District, in the village of Koina, by the name Usman Gumane. I would like to recognize the presence of honorable members of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia by the names Honorable Isajula Conte, the member for Jimara, and the Honorable Mfalli Kora, the member for Tumanna. I equally recognize the presence of the boards of this initiative of Usman Gumane, who are present here, starting by Suleiman Gesa Magasi, known as Grand Kasage, going to Mamoudou Traoré, who is the desk officer of Sarawale language at the curriculum department, MOPSI, and Aissatou Sinera, my own personal assistant. And our great leader, who is the chair of this board, by the name Honorable Bileji Tunkara, who is the Right Honorable Majority Leader of the Gambian National Assembly, who is presently in Abuja attending the first ordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament. I equally recognize the presence of the parents to Usman, the elderly people of the Sarole community, starting by our uncle Kenda Sona Toure, and Abdullah Gumane, the father to Usman Gumane, and the stepmother, the sisters, the brothers, and whoever has come to honor this occasion. And I would like to finish the recognition by the media fraternity, the press, print media, digital media, who are present here, and the entire staff of the National Center for Arts and Culture. Good afternoon to you all. Today is a very important day that will be marked into the history books of this country. We cannot develop ourselves if we don't know ourselves. You cannot know yourself if you don't know your culture. You cannot know your culture if you don't embark yourself on the research. A young person in the name of Usman Gumane, a very young person by the age 25 years of old, who has taken upon himself, using his own resources, taking his own courage, and being directed and guided by his ambitions in order to restart not only the Gambia, but his ethnic group. So I think if we are serious about the development of our nation, the paradigm have to be shifted. It's not only thinking what the government has to think for us. It's not only thinking what the government has to do for us. is also thinking who you are, what can you do, and what is your responsibility in order to develop your country. And I think this is what the gentleman Usman Gumane has done. He merits an applause at this stage. We encourage him, and we are with him in spirit, in moral, in physique, to accompany him to accomplish his journey. In the other way around, this will lead the government to decentralize the services of museum to Upper River region, which has been my advocacy for the last 5 years I spent in the parliament. We cannot talk about development without decentralization. But the decentralization also cannot be left only with the government. The citizen has a role to play. Usman is cognizant of that being a citizen of this country, he has a role to play, and he has played his role that have given us the name of Basse Museum. So today, we are not only giving a press briefing about Usman's adventure in research, but also I think we are launching Basse Community Museum. Because from here, I think that's going to be the next steps. So that will enable the government to decentralize the understanding of culture policy of this country, which cannot be possible without decentralization. People in Basse, it will be difficult for the children of Upper River region to travel all the way from Basse to come and visit the museum. And the nomenclature museum, it is indispensable for the understanding of culture of one's nation. You can hear, if you don't visit, you may not understand. You can hear, if you don't touch, you may not understand. You can hear, if you don't feel, you may not understand. But the culture will give you this opportunity to see, to touch, and to feel, to increase your understanding and the beauty of your own culture. That's the time you will start valuing yourself. If you start valuing yourself, that's time you start doing research about yourself, so that to understand yourself, where you started, what is done, where are you, and what has to come. Because the beauty of your life is to leave a legacy. Our ancestors have left legacies. Those are the legacies that we are trying to understand, to link up with the realities of today, and to plan for the future generations. And it is our responsibility to know what has passed, to know what is going on, and to create an avenue for the new generation so that they will understand where they come from. So we have to be very jealous by promoting and protecting our own culture, but also by reviving our own culture. So that's what the gentleman has done. Now to the government, starting with the National Center for Arts and Culture. I think we have laid the stepping stone. What we are waiting for now is the accompaniment of the government to accompany Usman in his further research, to gather the tangible heritages, but also to gather even the intangible heritages, so that the ethnic group Soninkara will be fully seen and known in this country. We want the government to assist Usman by establishing the Basse Community Museum. Usman has done his quota. The government has to play its quota. The citizens will play their quota. At the end of the day, the result will be the development of the Gambia. I will further engage the National Assembly members who are in presence. It was in my dream that if I come National Assembly member for my third time, the first thing that I have in mind is to detach arts and culture from the long statement of that standing committee as culture, sport, religion, etc., etc. So it is now your responsibility, if you want to accompany us to value arts and culture in this country, to detach arts and culture from that long statement of that standing committee. so that Arts and Culture Select Committee will be a committee of its own. You will be now having the chance and the privileges to engage the Minister of Finance so that a vote will be created for researchers in arts and culture in this country. Those are the things that we can do, combine together in order to be able to develop our country. So with this few remarks, I want to thank all the attendants to this important conference, and also thank Usman Gumane, who have taken all what it costs him in terms of physical, research, in terms of moral, in terms of finance, in order to create a day like today. So today will be marked in his history book that a day has passed in this country. We gathered here to celebrate a young person of 25 years by the name Usman Gumane from Koina village, Kantura district, Upper River region. On that note, I want to thank each and everybody, and I've seen Mohammed Jabi, who is a prominent member of Sarawale community. His presence is really acknowledged. I thank you.
And all other protocols observed. I am saying this statement on the behalf of my Director General, Mr. Hasum Sise, and also on the behalf of the NCAC, because Usman, what he has been started doing, it is part of our mandate as an institution to be able to make sure that we establish, museums across the whole country. As we, for right now, all the other regions has a museum except Basse, which I think Ibrahim Usman's endeavor is very, very crucial in this stage. Like NCAC is right now custodian of about 7 museums. That's the National Museum in Banjul here. We have a museum, another museum also at the Arch 22. We have a museum at Fort Blaine that is in Barra. We also have a museum at Jufre Albreda. And we also have another museum at Wasu Stone Circles. We also have a museum at Kerbach Stone Circles. And we also have another museum at the Sierra. That is the far museum that we have. That is at the Janjambure administrative area, which is the Kankurang Center. So these are the museums that are under the National Museum. But we will give you the assurance that with Usman's project, we will fully support our technical experience. We will also help in all the aspects that is necessary to make sure that, this museum is in place. So, Honorable Magasi, we have given you that assurance, and all the entire people who are here, that we are fully behind this project, and we will definitely support Usman in this project to achieve, for the betterment and the community of Basse. So I will have much to say, actually, because both of you have lamented very important issues, and then if I want to continue saying anything, I'll have to repeat what you guys said. So I would like to thank all of you for your time to coming to National Center for Arts and Culture, and coming here also to grace this important day for the establishment and the project for Basse Community Museum. So I thank you all for your kindly attentions. Thank you.
Bo nyudi gamu angilan kaneri ay gani wana sarang kanne yoga na hambo khorengai ugana kata kono minu sonin kan kandendi bo kenya du sababu yere yordi milar no digamendi ngala ina honorable Issa Jula Konte jimara député ni ngani digameke jopana hane amay yere orang guyi onatanda bismillah programme kengana girno ora Cheikh Jabi ngar sasa Jabi UK aga baka kandora koina ora gawar sasari onatankara bismillah honorable Magasi once again onatankara bismillah hamma sallah bismillah o haba kinda toure onatanda bismillah ari nyimi haba waire Abdullah Masa Gumane onatanda bismillah kendo siri tanaga yere bo taymu mogonda o takasura kasum bismillah aywa kenga na girno oga munona honne bo ko gara soninkan kanne nda ga no gir kebe su konno angelendi na honne ko na gara kana fahamu nda diga men joppati kuyini khere khere ndenyei kuyinde ndenge halle nda koni nanti ngamunda nin tokonko jamakeda pour serebenu ga igintintu malandi ganda tinta ari mari men khibare muku yo ndin tokonko ni nantin tokoni Usman Gumane nga baka koyna njaare no nyai kengana girno nda koni nanti hobe ganya sababu ngana kurasin gininga ke golledi yo kotanu yankite nga demi baka nali National Museum kere ayagani hi qasam ma bala khore kebe gayre yo ndemi na liere nkilu ngadai nasma ngama mungu 2013 ayagani 2013 oro kebe gari do mere o garo no ko keda ro tirni nan dan ora ngani eske kebe ga taawno do kera ho koyoyi sunu ngon kallen ati kebe ga taawno do kenga sonu ngan kannen to banti kebe ati yo ntin non tin tekel ati kera keni sonu ngon ya kallen awon tin tatu ati kem magura nta amana gani ati seren gara ni kammo ana anyi mentatu andam be ngani kebe ati kennu hoy lo juro khore yen yo ken kape hinu benu ngara kurasin gininga yo awagille kumpinu kay gadi ndemina koni amadalla ngara interview ngi dando forma kijera nda ko nan dindemina amugu igati ni son ngawnga kape xannu benu ana yiga sankono tangare sine kanendi yo kendim pammin dawo nanti na holla xewtu ibe ga oke ana ni son ngawnga nda sankono yo kenga gerno nse hendi nyille diga munu nanti angana hay ngara golle kebe dabari atagandi sikoy kunji kono gondi nda ko nanti archaeological artifacts yo angelan kanne yani ayagani yo kunu benu imisale nga o tonda stono kunati kamminyi dalemme yo ndukunyo kunwa bagasunu kuri façon daga ma façon no nakati yo façon sugani kebe a tarihin dura mangano agana yere nyinda agana kinyema palacio agana bugsellanga aragana yerne angana lennen kisai annan qawmani heru raban heru ngano bo waseren karni siri agana yere way unu karni away tunkarna yo heru benu gano nangi da warna nga kisina aragana bugna bugsellanga iwa yusunu sunu ngonga yusuna nyammo ko yogodi anani agana haliti bireni kun tarihin ngano yo kengana girno nda ko nandi cieni ngano ane cieni qasu nan dalle kunyo gunu sagare bakany yedi yo kunnu kunye misalu example nyen kembale nda ko se hendi nan digadi craft material ngano ngadi craft material ay gani iga kubenu segundi dabari ni nya yo kunu nga sorunga golniti ganne qasenga yo nda ken koni nan dibe misale nga ko mude ngano ane sonu ngoy golintay yoga o lengi wara mude ngara ha harsa to agulu ngano ibega ko ni nanti mude ngana ni kasuri surunya ga inna gollinta ay aga khairi be sababu kun ngano yo kenyan ji wara ka huye kunu ko yane kumbane golle ki gana nyeme tarikh nu be no gano nga angana rangana mude ki wara nyimme wala wasayne angilan kanne ingris kanne soni kanne mana kanji gandin ko ngara dabari yo a jope kammo kun ngano yo wala nyilla ko non diga mendi nan ditimi honu ngano ibe ga ko kebe ga tawnere yo aga kape timi honu benu sonu ngoni gollini tay yo amana kan jigi timi honu nci hanu gabe gabe ngani jubure ngano jembe ngano donde ngano dundu ngano yo bane sugari wa ko no tare ma ngudu gumunda ko nan ta sehene imya kam sababu nu benu ga nyana ga timi nanga ga nemu ko kebe ko no kun qawanu kun tare nu jey na nyime ane anga tunu nanti aga na timita ana kiya konno yo nda misale ngo nan taballe ngawano taballe ho gabe bare watu ganne ga senga inya yusunu ane ga na taballe timi ga na sulli nyimi yo ina yana khibar ndoyi yo kun ga tarikh nu ngano kembalendi ethnography ngano ethnograph materials ngano artifacts ngano ay gani ethnographic watini bo khabila nu ngambana kebedi ane hibe wasaran golle ma awamal ma jola ma manja ko ma yo kum nyokunu yogonu kun kakite yo ndi hibe ga o gese ko xe okay hibe ga o gese ko nda ko interview ndu nanti huwani angana sonu galle mundirna lengi hibe galla wa konno gabe watu khoni ka dabar kammo ko ganda dabar ko inanda jopa kun tarikh nu ngano ok ke ngana girno nda ko nande sumalle ngano sumalle agan jiwto nye iga hatenda barne yo ndake nga ko digamende ko nga tare ngano ok nyilla konno nanti landayna sehende bar nanduta anani mako nda kampero sagondi geligi ngira gollege joppa ma lengi anani nga bugutiya puru ina sonu gonna hamu jamani ke suna hamu nandi ko ani hinu yego nga buguti killu gubenu yo ndako nanti awa kille hanan ni mani ndaga Basse ayagani o soni gande buku nyingara yale mun dabari kunno gondi yalu mubenu ok gara soro bagandi sellenga soro benu ngi kama ngi tundo tananu nan dikunyi ga birene soro ani ina ha nqore ni tundu ndangani soro ani iri birenju kini na soro nya dema nda kunyu gono ko nan dia wagel kunga ala jamara gumane aga baka koyna debendi sere ani aga adrogoto siri drogoto nda khore ma iga toyo kinna hullan kanne nan di feshir ledi honna da ya wore nyenta kande ake adema ninga kasaw buru ok nda ko nandi Musa Moyo aga baka sandu yo nda to ngoy nandi balandi abaka songunda ko age memory khoro benu ga Basse yo arar nyen ok ndi ayile fahamien kinnoy mogar natu soro benu iga fati ka ifati ke ora waytini daga ha har sey to nga to kinyi ke kamma na to digara kuwen to hali gara golli surbe ndabari yo simmengi ko ngayro simmandi nandi hibe ga o haba Idrissa Damdi magasi arame nga berakere ay gan Sulema Jesi magasi gabi gatu garanga sage habe ke sere drogoton ta khore Soninkara lengi serbe ganta to logo adi wi mo wanjunya na Soninkara nya hasa Soninkara ngane kamye Gambia lengi ora waytini na Soninkara mbagandi sellanga ladanu na ko diga mendi na sorum faamu ni kamiga na itanze gesu ora waytini kenna ya karan ok ora koni gadi nanti aro simmandi ko gatana ibe go alay Umaru Touré nambugu baja kunda alay Umaru Touré sero khore masoronga tindono na fahamu nandi woli nyeni yo ori sa cinki ken kay kempalle akemba ka baja kunda kempalle ori nan tindo mogatini alay Musa Ndiaye agani sere abire khakallera utu aga baka julangeli droton da khore kempalle ori sangun silla ori girigran Ndiaye ora kusu to oningo oto ma kembenu nga harsa kubenu ga beranda on nogondi anani harsa wakilanta qorunga ni Soninkara birandi ndendangani yogonu wayre ngunno ga to onkoni ibe ga o haba Alhaji Honorable Musa Dramé akenga anyi député yani kempalle anya local minister nga local government minister ayagani serbe marantenga ni nyankibare kempalle ora koni nanti sasa yani minister of fisheries serbe marantenga birembo laqe kempalle dangi nandaga ori honnan kay ntogonkoni ay mega berakere nanti seriani Soninkara lenjireni Soninkara drogotana khore ke angana tan emphasis ndabara kamma gelile ngenga kono magumbane adrogoton tenni Soninkara daga kaneni har lengi kundu wayta wora kebe agara haju be wara lengi agabendi mo kunu nyanga kamma khadi kendi mo osu ke kota ya kanu inyima abija hari mission begi ma abija ira waytini amanyeme completely yoga ina ken Allah ini tiketin kutu inari golle ken gonde ken kamma ari har sara mu kunun gita ken kam har oga tawra kebe kundu haju nyama ministry ke qatira ke suwara iwa munde intawe berake ay gani ike ganya kebe sorongari tu kebe har sa sanga diga mana kamma ibe ganya sababu ma kendi Soninkara wen oto kendi inta Soninkara on to ko halle ma lengi Soninkara to gonginna nanda yani Soninkara stampunga lengi golle sugana ya lengi Soninkara undi honnan kayunkara akenga maradi agama nya sere ina ndroto khibar kedi hoto khiya aya gani ogida hainte mbange Honorable Mamadou Magasi kempalle girno akemba ka sabi kolomba fentiktere kempalle o haklen daga ma sandugu député khasenga Mohamed Mahanera anda berake akemba ka diawu batapa o haklen daga di former deputy governor ayagani Honorable Issa Jula Konte sasa yani Jimara député aw maga berake ra droto khibar ke siri hari ngara kunara nanti ke hiwanyana ati hikentanya ni halle so ba ke ari ngire ati bisindeni mo ka haju ke hakati ke gana kinya gari haju sui har ke ngani president office ni wa wala nalli yo ari ay brakere okay o mungu serebani to nga gani falli kora akawa honebun falli kora awa brakere agani député na mbugu tumanna xanu ñanjigi agari xibar ke no gondi awa brakere ora bismillah aywa kengana girno harsa ona listi ga kama o waxleli ngarndi moga rni o menu député kantora député ay gani lenki gambi député nun xirse onda NPP ticketinga honorable Bileji Tunkara ay mentere khara khanu intawi programme hana ke ana ngiri sababu mbuga yari bo adaga abija kendi ati o ma hikere bari halle ina munda ke hikere jopi jondi anyemi jondi khara khanu ina nyere galla ganat kebe angendi kebe ato galla galle kem balle ari programme tanakida makem programme gara gana nyeme makasumu kenagato harsa oranta aduku khara khanu intawi braker kempalle odaga mogatini 2018 nda yala mponu yogun dabari jamane kedi ibe ga kantora na debunyala kendi na tumanna na debunyala jimara na debunyala na daga ulli wes ulli is nanti na harsa gambino gondi hobe gani soni ngago natu yoki qasube no gani ganninga iganta sasa mahariga sasa gale sankono ona herinya ni kahume ko ani dingero bi ngagiri konno ngari gino gondi makempalle 2018 sorry 2021 ndaga oy menu tagalle munjamanenga ay gan Senegal nandaga gajaga debuku almost debu tamiru karago nan jiga suri nandaga futa awa kempalle ani na ngiri nandaga mali ayani dingira be angana pare soni ngawo nyimme tunu kamedi kame andaga na noye taga qase yani mali an qase jamangabe aro jamanu karegi almost aro kungingi angana kinyono har kumbane andu ho wallini manna ho amuko manna ho walla angama ne kebe walla kempa logara mali oti o hammin taunu onan daga jombo marina mando de jambo marina na to de sere nyiga bire ke no gondi mallagi khalfan utai ora waitini soninga ullengi jamanu kutummi manyeru na soninga ullaga na bagandi sellanga duna suna tunandi kyanu soninga unga gambari timmen no gondi ayenda kenche babu kenni ko gai ayagani alhaji ganda fadiga abire makallega utu awasaka hurunkara lengi jombo marina khaburo kempalle oti o girnoraga jahunu kempalle oraga gidimme ogara kubenu yala kuno gondi oranta skonno nandaga karta nandaga gajaga nandaga kingi kempalle oraga kingi oraga manigai oraga na damangille jawara aga bambangire akaburangano abaka kingi oraga kaburan jura kempalle o dangi nandaga channa kulukuro marandi nandaga karunga jawara kaburan jura kempalle oraga mullinne ana jombo way nam pable mariga kaburan jura bo aga kape soninga hana nga gelim manden tarendi akaburanga ina nonga kempalle oti oraga murtani mando dengi bo asugem kiadi sasa nandi wagaru qaseke be sorunga konno hay mori bu halleno kenna murtani kembal oraga no nanu nyala pour na njimme siri nandi sonu goni breniere hakundu ay suraku nyama sasa yo kemballe ora koni nanti oranta su konno kuni hini ogono ita ogi konno kharangen gana fahamu nanti ho gabe yana no ngana tinna su ko ke tawra nte koni tarikh be ga saya gabendi inshallah kenyani harsa kana yam bomaga ora mu nona ga fahamu ni honne ga nanti ke press briefing be oga da barno kundu aya wureni nanti manja kundanda korosi nende war nanti wira khelon ke golle dina tuindi jamane ke suyi nanti ke golle i kontani tay ka golle ke merante palaskerante mu nan tage na yakunu kuti ni rode ni rano ona ne ma official briefing de ba ki official briefing mani khaya nga ku yakunu tantan dibi ga taawunu na ko yaga nan di golle ke orandare nan taaw tebul nga kunna speaker la nan diga mu camera mun taawun te ngoy ananyo ma hinu ko yaga ga binu ga wala ta ya ga nandi ko ani misalu benu awa o golle ga terna kamma yo kenya ni inshallah kana en ma gollem kutenga halla ga place ke ga nyimi Basse serbe ga na daga no ngantanga kadangi yano nallo kim mizum no gondi kenge nasmani mi gana kibe kenya inshallah kana ganwari wala gasu nwari wala gatiga o kontane siri ganwari assalamu alaikum